I beat Pokemon HeartGold without healing, evolving, TMs, and without even using Pokeballs. I decided that my best bet for a starter would be Totodile, given the fact that he learns Crunch and Ice Fang, giving him a good counter against most gyms. I immediately got him to level 10 and arrived in Cherry Grove City. I was able to demolish the rival and to go to Sprout Tower in preparation for the first gym. This was just a bunch of Bellsprouts, and by the end, I was level 14 as I entered the gym. I took out Pidgey easily, but somehow this Pidgeotto was crazy. I was missing all of my attacks, and it was healing. I lost. But after getting myself to level 15, I was able to destroy the Pidgeotto. I went to the Pokemart, where the scientist gave me an egg. I didn't have to catch it, so I was able to get my second Pokemon. From here, I went through this cave and emerged in this town. I was informed that Team Rocket was doing bad things to the local Slowpoke population. This was an unforgivable action, doing such a thing to the best Pokemon. I blew through them with ease and made a new enemy right here. This man really tried to give me a Pokeball, really just trying to throw him around like that. I went into the gym, a bug type one this time. I dealt some good damage to the Scyther, but it healed a little and switched out. After killing the Metapod, one quick attack killed me. I grinded to level 20 and had a lucky run where Scyther barely attacked. Metapod and Kakuna were easy. I went on to Elex Forest. While here, my egg hatched into a Togepi. But yes, I needed to catch a Rattata that I was only allowed to use for the cut HM. But right after, I entered Goldenrod City, where I found the daycare and game center. But I was also introduced to the hardest gym yet. Whitney's Clefairy was easy, but the Miltank was different. Over the course of multiple turns, Togepi couldn't land one yawn. With the charm effect to stop me, and her strong attacks, I would need decent luck to win this. In this run, Whitney just kept healing, but I was able to land a Crunch and a crit. I arrived at Ecruteak City, fought the rival, and quickly headed into the gym. After a weirdly difficult puzzle, I was in. With Crunch, I was easily able to one-shot every Pokemon, allowing me to head to Olivine City. The gym leader was at the top of the lighthouse, and she forced me across the water to pick up some medicine for her. I caught a Slowpoke for the Surf HM and went to Signwood City. As I got back to Olivine, my first attempt at this gym already proved useless, and here is where this game center would be put to use. I played Voltorb Flip for a while. Not a very fun game, but with 2,100 coins, I could buy a Dratini. After some work in the daycare, I entered the gym with a level 30 Dratini. He could get rid of one Magnemite and do some decent damage to Steelix. With Togepi using Yawn on the last Pokemon, Totodile was able to get the win. I went back to Signwood City, and to my surprise, the gym was quite easy. Primeape took a while, but somehow didn't land a single attack on me. With Poliwrath asleep, I took out the majority of its HP hitless, and after that, he didn't stand a chance. I spoke to Lance at the Lake of Rage, and I had to infiltrate the Team Rocket hideout. All of the enemies here were quite easy, and I got through without a challenge. I made my way to the next gym, and I can't lie, it was hard. Every time I thought I was close, it wasn't right. Really the hardest one so far, but yeah, the fight was easy. Team Rocket had gained control of the radio center. There were a ton of enemies here, and this boss fight was really bad. I was barely able to get through on my second try, right before I was put in another rival fight. This was a good checkpoint to see how powerful I really was, and I won, with flying colors. There were still a lot more trainer fights, until I finished, and my next step was the Ice Cave. It began with a few annoying puzzles, but nothing I couldn't handle, until I reached this floor. I spent half an hour walking around, sliding on the ice, but I had no idea that this was impossible. I looked up a tutorial and saw stones down here, realizing that I had to push them down from up here. I did this and got through, but not without a newfound grudge for the devs. I was in the next gym, where I was quickly demolished. I put Dratini and Togepi in the daycare and began running. After a while, I came back with a strategy. I would start by putting Gyarados to sleep, and then using Totodile to finish him and kill the next two Dragonair, leaving only Kingdra. I tried a lot, but never seemed to get the final hit. My Dratini was one-shot to all the other Pokemon, and is slower than them, so the only way it could deal damage is by Togepi putting the enemy to sleep first. I got really far this try, but a 75% accuracy move did me dirty. I decided some more time in the daycare would be good, so I got Togepi and Dratini back in for a while. When I came back, it was still hopeless. I tried countless strategies, but nothing worked. I was informed of another free Pokemon I could obtain, Shuckle, and soon after, with Dratini at a high enough level, I was able to outspeed Kingdra and crit my Dragon Rush. Before I went on to Victory Road, I needed to defeat the Kimono Girls, a group of 5 enemies, each with their own evolution. I lost pretty quickly, and decided that in order to beat the game in general, my Pokemon would need a much higher level. I put Dratini and Togepi in the daycare and started running. This lasted a while, and once they were both around level 55, I started back up. After a few attempts and figuring out the right attacks to use, I won. I found out a way to get a free Pokemon egg that would hatch into one of these 3 Pokemon. I answered some of this guy's weird questions and left with a new Marie. After this, I went to kill Ho-Oh and travel through Victory Road when I was finally met by the Elite Four. When I went in, I was surprised. I thought I had a decent chance. Totodile could easily slow the first member. But as soon as I started the second fight, everything became hopeless. I started to grind levels a lot. I got Mareep and Shuckle to level 45 and 48. Then I spent more time on Dratini and Totodile. Even with this progress, I stood no chance. I kept leveling, over and over until I decided that daycare was not the right approach. I decided to fight the first Elite Four member over and over again. It was really leveling me up fast, but pretty quickly I realized something. I was able to beat the first two members, one time even 3 of them, with just 2 Pokemon and really no thought put into my attacks. I decided to give it a legit run and started like this. Totodile got through the first member without taking any damage, one-shotting nearly every enemy, but I was worried about his crunched PB. The second fight wasn't nearly as smooth. 2 crunches were spent on Ariados, and I was able to take care of Fortress and Muck with only 2 of my 5 Hydro Pumps. After taking care of Crobat and Venomoth, I was the winner, but the third fight is where Dratini shines. While Hitmontop is out, I use 2 Dragon Dances to boost my stats, and then I'm able to kill everyone with Dragon Rush. It does leave Dratini in pretty bad shape though. The final member was pretty easy. Dratini was able to take care of Espeon and Murkrow. Vileplume, Gengar, and Houndoom were easy for Totodile. As I headed toward Lance, I was in bad shape, but prepared to give it my all. Dratini was immediately lost to Gyarados, but luckily, Murray was able to one-shot him, saving the run. All 3 Dragonites were light work for Totodile, leaving me with just Aerodactyl and Charizard. Aerodactyl was one-shot with Hydro Pump, but that means I had none left for Charizard. If I were to die here, a damaged Murray would be all I had. But with 47 HP, I landed the last water gun I needed, therefore completing this challenge. That's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, you might also like to see when I beat Pokemon Platinum without dealing damage.